My name's Linda. I work really hard in the office that I'm at, and I'm going to get a promotion soon, only to find out that it's not really going to happen because somebody's been having advantages with the boss. Let me tell you all about how my promotion got absolutely ruined. We all have a horrible boss story. Now, I don't mean like the movie Horrible Bosses. I don't think the horrible boss I have in mind is that bad, but he's pretty crappy. However, because of what happened, my story is a little worse than some of the other ones out there. I'm gonna start from the beginning, not too far back. I don't see the need to go into where I was born, how I was raised, and all that other stuff. What I want to do is start after I graduate college. I have a degree in business and economics. It was a pretty typical degree, but I could not exactly think of what I wanted to do. So that seemed like a logical place to go. After a few months of looking for a job, I found one. It was not the best job, but it got my, experience under my belt. I worked there for a few years, and after I decided I wasn't going anywhere, I went somewhere else. I was interviewed by a guy named Jake. He was okay. The guy did come on a little heavy, but overall, everything was saying it's lined up with what I wanted in a job. So, you know what I did? I accepted. From the moment I started, I was determined to make the best of it. The office was a mix of adults in all ages, but the one thing that we had in common is that we all were hard workers. The first year passed without much incident. I was making more than I was at my other job, so I was able to finally move out of my parents' house and into an apartment of my own. Then, the second year passed. I got a bit of a raise. It was not the biggest raise out there, but hey, I was content enough with it. To me, after working there for only 2 years, it seemed pretty good. Maybe I should have been a bit pushier, but I wasn't that type of person. I've been taught that you did not want to rock the boat at work, and it was okay to ask for a raise, but you needed to wait for the best moment. Honestly, I had no idea what the best moment was to ask for a raise if my boss did not discuss it first. Once I was in my 3rd year, I did get a bit more confident and learned it's okay to bring it up on your own. Another thing I was expecting was a promotion. I mean, not yet, but another coworker of mine had previously gotten a promotion, and I wanted that. It would mean more work, but hey, I didn't really care. The amount of money and status I would be getting at work was worth it. Besides, I liked working and there was nothing wrong with hard work. In my 4th year, I thought it was finally time to start looking for the best moment to bring up a promotion. It was all I wanted at this point, and I was not growing sick of my job, but it was starting to become a bit dull and stale. I wanted something that presented more of a challenge, which a promotion would get me. When I brought it up to my boss Jake, who was honestly pretty dismissive, he told me to ask again in a few years. By the time I've been there 5 years, it would be a better time for me to get a promotion. In the meantime, I just kept my head down working hard because I did not want my performance to slip at any moment. Under no circumstances would I ever let my performance fall. So, for the next few months, I was working very hard. If I needed to stay late, I would, and tried my best to even never take a day off. One might say I was a bit of a workaholic who spent a little too much time at work, but hey, I wanted that dang promotion. Finally, once I've been there for 5 years, I figured, hey, now's the time. Now's the best time to ask for that promotion, because my boss Jake did say that I could ask around this time. One day, while I was about to leave work, I did ask to talk to Jake for just a minute. At this time, I mentioned the promotion gain. My boss seemed almost surprised by this. I reminded him of what he said a few months ago and told me that he needs to think it over for the weekend and he would get back to me. So come Monday, Jake called me to his office and offered me something in return for the promotion. If I took on some more overtime for the next few weeks, he would add that credit to my file and then submit for me to have the promotion. It would look good to the higher-ups, and they would approve it without any trouble, he thinks. Now, the best idea, huh? The idea of doing all this overtime work, it wasn't the worst thing ever, but it also was not the best. I wanted to have my free time to be able to relax and spend time with friends, or just to have fun outside of work, you know. But at the same time, I also wanted the promotion, and in a few weeks of overtime is what I had to do to get it, so be it. So I told Jake he has a deal, and for the next few weeks I worked hard. I spent so much extra time at work that I almost could not see straight. The weeks did start to blend, so I had to keep looking at the calendar to see how much time had passed. After a few weeks of this, Jake told me that I could finally stop doing the overtime. He was going to send it in and would get back to me, so I waited. And I waited. And I waited some more, but nothing. I didn't freak out because I knew things could take a while. Eventually, the higher-ups were going to approve the promotion as promised, and then I'd be moving up to the corporate ladder, like I'd always dreamt of. Except, as you can imagine, that did not happen, because why else would I be telling you about my worst boss story ever? What ended up happening is probably not something you can imagine either. One day, when I got to work, I saw everybody congratulating my coworker Mary. So I blinked and asked what's going on. She told me she got the promotion. The specific promotion towards which I was working for. Immediately, I went to my boss's office and demanded to know what happened. He said there was a mix-up. It's out of his control. For some reason, she got the promotion rather than me, and it's all out of his hands. So there was nothing more that he could do. I was beyond upset and refused to just take this lying down. The reason why something was fishy about this is because Mary was Jake's affair partner. From the moment she was hired 2 years ago, I thought it was odd because she wasn't very good at her job, if you ask me that. Well, I thought it was odd, I really did. From listening to the gossip, it became clear that the two were having a very illicit affair. At first, I didn't care much about it. It wasn't any of my business, but now I realize I had to care about it and look more into it. Something was strange. Why did Mary get my promotion out of the blue like that? I wasn't fair. I was the one who should have gotten it. It was mine. So I did the only thing that I could do. I started to dig. My boss, Jake, was not exactly the smartest guy out there. He tended to leave his office unlocked, and I stayed up late one day and did some research. First, I tried his files, because that seemed like the best part, but I found nothing. Then I just figured checking the computer was a good idea to do this. On the computer, I went into my timesheet, and the overtime I worked at was not there. All of it's been deleted, and this made my stomach drop. If it's been deleted, then where the hell had it gone? I decided to go check into Mary's file. Perhaps this is where I could find some answers, and let me tell you, I did find some answers. To my horror, what was there were all the overtime hours I worked. I remember every moment of every time I worked over the past few weeks, so all the dates lined up. The rare weekend I came in was on her sheet. Then I checked the dates I came in early or stayed a little too long. What I found just further made me mad. Everything was there, more dates that I'd worked, all my overtime had been given to Mary. I could not believe it's been given to her. This wasn't fair. I worked these hard hours, but she was receiving the rewards. That little witch got the promotion that I've been working towards for weeks. It was obvious why Mary was the one who got the overtime credit. Jake gave it to the woman who was sleeping with him. Could it be any more obvious? And when I looked back, I could recall a few moments when it seemed like Jake was trying to flirt with me or trying to get me to engage in a relationship with him. Of course, I shut that down right away, and here I thought hard work was what would get me somewhere. But all it did was give somebody else a promotion. It wasn't fair. Mary was the worst worker in the office, and I could recall the number of things that she had done well one hand alone. She just wasn't that good when it came to working in capacity. On the other hand, she was working hard in a sense of one word. I almost laughed at my dirty joke, but then I felt that I wanted to cry. What the hell was I going to do? There was no evidence that I've worked these hours. It was all gone. There might be some way to recover it off the computer, but it would be my word against my boss's word. Nothing good would come of it. So I have to take a different approach, but the problem was I have no idea. If anybody has any ideas, please let me know. It's not necessary. The only reason I came here is because I wanted to rant about my horrible boss and share it with the world. But if you do have any ideas, DM me or comment down below. One of your ideas might give me a way to get revenge on my a-hole of a boss and Mary, who got the promotion I worked so damn hard for. Update. I decide to mail evidence of the affair to my boss's wife. Make sure you subscribe. First of all, I want to thank everybody and all the giving me of suggestions. I ended up just taking one of them seriously, and let me tell you, I don't think I would have thought about it if you had not brought it up. Anyways, to the update. What I ended up doing was grabbing evidence of the affair. You would think Jake and Mary would be more subtle about it, but they weren't. They were pretty damn obvious. A boss engaging in a relationship with their employee was bad enough, but what was worse, Jake was a married man. I'd seen his wife a few times when she stopped at the office just to speak with him, but this was as far as it went. I did not even speak to her other than hello, how are you doing, goodbye. I suppose, it said something about me that I wasn't willing to think of Elizabeth before I learned what Jake did to my overtime. But as far as I was concerned, it was not my business. Did I disagree with the affair? Of course, I did. I did not agree with it at all, but it was none of my damn business. Until Jake decided to screw me over in favor of his little cute mistress, who was a terrible employee. I'm telling you, she was the worst person in the office, but for some reason was kept on. Well, I knew the reason now. It just wasn't fair for her to get promoted over me. So I waited and I bid my time, and eventually I was able to get a few pictures. They thought nobody was there, and I caught them just talking in a corner of the office, and I had my video running on my phone. I was able to get all of it. Then I made sure just to record and take pictures of some flirtatious behavior. The biggest smoking gun was them kissing in the parking lot. I was hiding behind a car, waiting for them to come out. My car's been parked elsewhere, so it would look like I didn't even park in the office in the first place. It was obvious that they were kissing with a passion. Gosh, they could barely keep their hands off one another. What it did to my stomach. After gathering all the evidence, I printed out the pictures and put the video on a hard drive. So all I had to do from there was mail it to the wife. I didn't want the boss to get it, so I did a little digging to find out where she worked. Once I had her work address, I mailed it there and put it under her name. The one thing I made sure not to do was put my name, but I did explain the situation and what happened recently with Mary getting all my hours. So now all there is left to do is wait. It might end up leading to nothing, but I do hope it screws my boss over just like he did me. Update. My boss found out it was me, and he fired me. I thought my next updates would be about my boss's wife finding out the truth, and then I would get the revenge that I desperately wanted. But that wasn't it at all. As you can see from the title, I was fired after my boss found out. I was the one to send evidence to his wife, and here's where it started. Rumors started swirling around the office that the boss was having marital troubles. This started a little after I sent the evidence of the affair to his wife. One day, the boss was heard shouting in his office. It was obvious somebody who worked here had sent it, because all the types of pictures and videos they got. I didn't know what to think. All I knew was that I was very nervous that I would be discovered. My plan did seem like a good idea in the beginning, but now I was having a lot of doubts. Did I do the right thing? At some point, my boss starts to look at me. I think somebody might have, seen me taking pictures or coming out of a suspicious bush, because somehow he got onto me on his radar. He confronted me while I was working one day and told me he knew that I was the one who sent the evidence of the affair. It was clear that he had it in his mind, so I did it already and nothing was going to change it, so I might as well just embrace it. I told my boss that I was the one who did it because it wasn't fair for him to get away with giving hours to Mary when I did all the hard work. After the confrontation, I was fired. I packed my things up and then left, and right after telling everybody to go wet themselves, I dedicated 5 years to this office, and now I'm fired. I did not regret taking those pictures and videos to send to Elizabeth, Jake's wife. It had been done. It had to be done. I hoped that it would lead to him getting in trouble with his wife, but I was going to have to wait on that. For now, I'll just go and look for another job. Lucky for me, I did have a decent amount of savings, so I could live off them for a while before I was in the danger zone. The idea of having to find a whole new job, it was stressful. Plus, I knew this boss was not going to give me the best review when I used him as a reference. This probably is not the update everybody was expecting or wanting, trust me. I wanted more than nothing for Mary to get fired and the boss to face consequences as well. But if it's going to happen, then it's probably isn't going to happen anytime soon. If there's any more updates, I'll send them your way. Thank you, everybody, for all your updates. Update. Boss got punched out. Wish I've been there. Okay. So it's been 3 weeks since I last updated, and boy, do I have an update for you. So let me jump straight into what happened. Apparently, after the evidence I sent to Elizabeth, she's been plotting to get a divorce and make sure her husband did not get away with anything. One of my old co-workers was somebody I was still friendly with, so they kept updating me on what was going on. Jake was trying to contest the divorce, or at least was planning to do that. He wasn't going to go down without a fight, and now he was saying this is in the office, bragging that his wife would not get the best of him. Mary was egging him on. She probably thought that he was going to marry her afterward, which was laughable when you think about it. His wife Elizabeth must have gotten sick of the bullcrap because one day she showed up at the office, demanding to talk to him. What happened next is amazing. Elizabeth got so frustrated with Jake, and, him trying to drag the divorce out, that she punched him right then and there. She said if he even thought about pressing charges or trying to drag the divorce out, then she would make sure this got out to the public. Seeing the company was pretty well known in the area. But bigger than that is Jake's family. His family were mild celebrities in the city, and if this did get out, then it surely was going to cause a lot of hectic problems. Elizabeth walked out after that, eyeing Mary, and Mary did not even do anything. She cowered and kept as far away from her as she could, and Elizabeth finally left with everybody and the entire office in a state of shock. Now, as happy as I was to no longer have that job, I just can't believe I missed all that. I wished I could have been witnessing to it to see the look and the shock and the pain across my ex-boss's face. So, it had to have been great for everyone else there. Probably gave them all a sense of validation, and I don't know if this is going to stop Jake from acting out, but given what I knew about the tendency to want to save face of him, well, it's worth getting fired to be able to screw over my boss. Absolutely it is. My savings will only last so long, but like I said, I'm just happy that Jake's no longer going to be able to mess with anybody else's future. Hard work should be rewarded, not given to somebody just because they happen to be, well, you know what, with the boss. There are so many reasons not to do that. Plus, as a woman, it's already hard to climb the corporate ladder. Hopefully, I'll be able to find a job soon, but right now, I'll just enjoy the fact that my revenge worked out. Update. Apparently, my ex-boss has gotten taken to the cleaners in the divorce, and his business is fried. Hey guys, I know it's been a few months, but I haven't really had a reason to even come and update you guys. I did get another job. While it does pay less than my old job, it's something that'll keep me afloat while I look for something better. When it comes to this economy, you take what you can get. But soon enough about my troubles, that's the reason why I'm giving the newest update. My ex-boss Jake is officially divorced from Liz, and it's an understatement to say that she took his butt to the cleaners. I had a suspicion she was going to do whatever she could to make him pay for the affair. And boy, oh boy, was I right. While Jake's family is wealthy, Elizabeth's family is much wealthier. So the house they initially got was hers. My ex-coworker is the one telling me all this, by the way. I'm so grateful he's keeping me updated on the tea because I want to know what's going on in that hellhole after being fired. Anyways, Elizabeth came out of the divorce like a champ and Jake lost. He even ended up losing his business. I'm not sure why, but it had to do something about the divorce because soon after it was finalized, the office shut down. I felt bad for all my coworkers who were innocent in this. They did not deserve to have to just scramble to find a new job. The one I did not feel sorry for was obviously Mary. She'd find another boss to leech off of. She's beautiful. It was just a matter of time, and I hated to say it, but she was one of those workers who was not willing to do the hard actual work it takes to get anywhere in life. What Mary wanted to do was take the easy way out to get to the top. Mary, she almost got away with it, but she underestimated how petty I can be. There's no way I was just going to sit there and deal with somebody being allowed to take credit for my work. I'm sure Jake's parents would try to bail him out at some point. He just seemed like the type of guy who would, up to his parents' butts, expecting them to always bail him out for the trouble he causes. Whatever. That would be fine by me if it happened, and at least he was facing current consequences and humiliation from the fallout of the divorce. This job that I'm at right now, again, is not the best job out there, but I still don't have 1 ounce of regret in me for doing what I did. It was worth getting fired to be able to screw Jake over, just like he tried to do to me. As I said with the last update, I'm hopeful I'll find a new job soon. It's going to take a lot of work on my part to find something that fits the preference I need. Wish me luck. Guys, this should be the last update. I might come back to let you guys know what happens and if I get a new job. Final updates. My boss's ex-wife contacted me. Guess what she wants? The last time I was here, I said I would come back to tell you all when I get a new job, and I did get one, but it did not happen the way I expected it to. My thought was that I was going to have to keep looking and working at that crappy job in the meantime. Then I get a call from a number I didn't recognize. When some people get calls from unknown numbers, they don't answer. I didn't answer because I didn't want to end up answering some annoying spam call, so I just ignored it. Until I heard the message that it was left from. The message was from Elizabeth, Jake's ex-wife. According to her, she talked with one of my ex-workers and found out that I was the one to inform her about the fact that her husband was a cheater, even if it cost me the job in the process. Elizabeth said that if I had the time, I should call her back so we could discuss her helping me find a new job. I wasn't sure what to think, but I was tempted to because I absolutely wanted a new job. So, I called her back and she asked if we could meet the next day for coffee and discuss it there, so I agreed to meet her and headed straight to the cafe. Elizabeth and I chatted for a bit, but then she shifted the conversation to the reason we met in the first place. She wants to help me since I was fired for indirectly helping her. Since she was in a similar field to her husband, she could get me a job at a very good company. That would pay double what I was making at Jake's. I jumped at the offer. Sure, I got that interview. I was hired within a few days, and this led me to quitting my old job because I had no reason to be there. After putting my 2 weeks in, I could finally start at the new job. Elizabeth and I really did not stay in contact, but I did reach out to her when I started the job to thank her for all that she's done for me. She sent me a message back that she was all so grateful for what I've done because it helped her get out of a crappy marriage. See, when I told you this update was crazy, I never imagined that I would be getting a good-paying job thanks to Elizabeth, Jake's ex-wife. The last I heard about Jake, he had moved out of the city and back to his parents' house. I don't know what became of Mary, but frankly, I don't care. I'm sure she landed on her feet, or should I say something else, and slept her way back to the top like she did before. My hope is that she'll end up losing her new job just like she lost the last one. So this did work out at the end of the day for OP, and OP was able to expose the affair to her boss's wife and other people, countless amounts. But guys, I just want to know, some of the commenters were mentioning, hey, I know that your boss was hard to deal with and he was a jerk and he gave away your promotion, but airing out his business and getting involved in his affair was just too far. But there were also plenty of people who were like, no, no, no. She wasn't going to get involved until she found out that he involved her by putting her promotion up for the line and then just snatching it away at the end of the day. And I don't think OP did anything wrong. But I do want to hear your opinion, so drop it down below. Let's talk about it. Do you think OP went too far? Guys, thank you for joining me. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories like this every single day. If you guys want to be a part of these daily stories, consider subscribing to the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. But of course, remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.